Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from. Welcome to Workshop 4.0. And today's session is very, very special because I have a special guest on board, and I'm going to briefly introduce her, talk briefly about what we're going to be doing today, and she will come on board. But before we start, like every other session, let's pray. Let's invite the presence of God, and then we can get started. Most gracious Father, we thank you for today. We give you glory. Have your way, have your way. Let this conversation be a blessing to the lives of many, to us, to the guests. Whoever will listen to this conversation, let them be blessed. Let them gain wisdom nuggets, Father, things that will help them in their lives as well. We pray this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Okay, so a few housekeeping rules. Share if you're joining now. Somebody may need the information that we're going to share, or that my special guest is going to share today. So please share the link to whoever you know might need this. If your friend is not going to the university, anyone navigating career changes, whatever it is, share, because today's journey is going to be very, very enlightening. And I believe that you leave here transformed and with some ideas on how to move forward. So, drum roll, everybody. My special guest that I have is someone that, well, we go way back, not so way back, but we go way back. And I'm just excited to have her here. I'm honored to have her here. And I'm really glad that she will share her journey with us, because I believe that when people tell their stories, there's a lot of impact that it makes. Your journey is enriched with so many things that sometimes looking back is when you can tell the level of transformation that has happened through you and with you, and what you've gained from that journey. So I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to read her bio, and then she will come and also tell us about herself, and she'll have the stage. So I'm going to read her bio briefly, then we will get started. Okay. So my special guest today goes by the name Angelina Naa Atswei Adjetey. If you're not Ghanaian, don't try to pronounce the name. You just stick with the first name, okay? But it's Angelina Naa Atswei Adjetey. And she is a food safety professional with over 7 years, guys, 7 years of experience in food safety, quality assurance, and regulatory compliance. She currently serves as a senior food safety and quality assurance technologist at Smithfield Foods, where she helps ensure food safety, product quality, regulatory compliance, and continuous process improvement. Angelina holds a Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Technology from Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana, and a Master of Science in Sustainable Agriculture from Iowa State University. Her graduate research focused on developing food safety educational resources for non-English speaking growers in the Midwest, advancing equitable access to food safety education. She holds industry recognized credentials, including FSPCA, FSPCA, Preventive Controls Qualified Individual, that is PCQI certification, and Produce Safety Alliance, that is PSA, Grower Training certification. Her research has been presented at national conferences, including the International Association for Food Protection, IAFP, and she has received multiple awards recognizing her academic excellence, leadership, volunteer service, and professional contributions. She is passionate about advancing food safety through education, research, and industry collaboration. Angelina enjoys sharing practical insights that bring scientific research with real world food manufacturing and agricultural practices. Guys, this is a mouthful. This woman that we have here today is rich in knowledge. There's so much she has to share. So I'm just going to encourage you, stay tuned, grab your pen, your sheet of paper, whatever, to take notes. And I believe that maybe at the end, she'll let you know how you can get in touch. If she wants you to get in touch, you may leave her details so that you can get in touch. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on board our special guest for today, Angelina Naa Atswei. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Thank you
Good
so much, Ernestina.
day. Good afternoon from Ghana.
Good morning from the US.
Uh, yes, I was telling them your bio is a mouthful because there's so much that you have to share with us. And I told them I would go way, way back, but also way back because of the gap. But
Primary to
it's good to have you
JHS.
here. Primary to
Yeah.
JHS. Wow. We thank God for today. So please go ahead, tell us about you because I've read your bio. People are listening, but they want to know you personally or describe yourself to us briefly, and then we can go right into the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I would sincerely like to thank you, Ernestina, for inviting me to be part of today's section. And I'm honored to be here and also grateful for the opportunity to share a little bit of my story with everybody. And when I was invited to speak, I thought about how much information I wish I had known before embarking on this graduate journey. Sometimes we just see people in the US, but we don't see the sacrifices that go into it, the rejections,
Mm,
the numerous tears.
mm,
So today,
mm.
that is what I really want to talk about. In case anybody is uncertain whether they will be accepted, how to go about it, and that's what our conversation today would be about. So more of like a practical conversation, how to secure funding and also life abroad. So I'll just start with my journey. I don't know if you can see my
Oh,
screen.
I can. Okay, not yet. So I'm going to go off screen, and please feel free. Okay,
Okay.
but I'm still here, so I'll hear everything that you say, and I can come on as and when. All right.
Sure. So for my journey, my bachelor's degree, I did that in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology from the year 2016 to 2020. And that was what built my foundation in food science. So after that, I worked for 3 years in Ghana. I did my national service in Olam Cocoa Processing, located in Kasi, Kumasi. I worked over there as an integrated pest management technician and also quality assurance technician, and all was in the quality department. And over there, I gained practical industry experience. So that was where I did my national service. And after that, I was retained. So I worked there for a total of 3 years. And in the year 2023, I felt like that was the time I wanted to embark on my master's journey. So I started looking for schools and I got admitted to Iowa State University of Science and Technology, and my focus was in sustainable agriculture, but my home department was food science. So I was still in the food science journey, and that transitioned into interdisciplinary food safety research. I graduated last year in August 2025, and I got employed in Smithfield Food. So I'm working currently in Smithfield as a senior food safety and quality assurance technologist. And that is helping me to apply my academic and also industry experience to food safety. So I just have the slides in case somebody's wondering, what do I do at work? So food safety and quality assurance technician, safety food first. We always have the hearts of people. We always ensure that people get good food and that whatever they are consuming wouldn't harm their body. So we always think about our customers to ensure that we are always meeting their specification and even exceeding their expectation. So that is what I do. So food safety, your food safety is my priority. So now I would like to move on to my journey, how I got to the US. So graduate school. So this was how I started with my application. So when I was thinking of graduate school, I asked people about graduate school and how graduate school is like. So I got to know that we have masters and PhD. So depending on what you want to do, and also we have different types of funding. We have either the research assistants or teaching assistants, and how to apply and the application deadline. So, finding the right program is the first thing you'd have to do when you want to apply for the graduate school. You have to decide whether you want to do a master's with thesis or master's without thesis or PhD. So, when you're looking at the master's with thesis, that focuses on intensive research and thesis defense. And that was what I did. And we also have master's without thesis that focuses on coursework. And we have the PhD that focuses on high level research publication in academia. And you have to put in mind the time, the duration for all these programs. So for the masters with thesis and without thesis, that takes about 2 to 3 years. And the PhD is 4 to 5 years, depending on your course and also your supervisor. So let me just give a brief story of how I did mine and also what I have on the slide. So how I began to search for schools was after work every single day. So I had some time that I committed to it. After work every single day, I'll just look for schools in the US that offer food science. So I had a long list where I wrote out all the schools in the US that offered food science. And I went to each school, look at the faculty, the directory, and also the supervisor whose research interests I felt aligned with what I wanted to do and what I wanted to become. So that was how I started reaching out to them. And truthfully, there were lots of rejections. Some of them were like, they didn't have funding. Others were like, okay, they can take me, but I would have to fund myself or it would be a partial scholarship. And some I didn't even hear from them at all. So this is how to go about your research faculty and academic alignment. So you have to ensure that you find the right people and you build connections. And this is how to do it. So the first one, you can do your literature mapping. You have to review recent academic papers in your specific area of interest and note the authors. So after you do that, you can also go through the school's directory, the website, and also look for the departmental faculty members and look at the faculty members whose active research directly aligns with yours and create a potential list of faculty, their research focus, recent publications, and whether they are accepting graduate students. So this is just a scenario of what I have, what I said in the slide before. So using Google Scholar, you can just search for the name of the person. So for instance, I have a paper that is published, which is addressing produce safety educational needs for non-English speaking growers in the Midwest. So in case you want to work with me and you don't know who the authors are, you can just use Google Scholar to search, and also that would help you to see the authors in the paper and you can reach out to them and tell them about your interest and whether they are accepting students or not. Contacting professors. So after I did that, I sent a cold email to the professors. And with that, I told them about what I have already achieved, where I was, what I did for my bachelor's degree, and what my project was about, and also whether I had published any papers. So when contacting professors, you have to send a concise, personalized email about 2 to 3 paragraphs because most of those professors are very busy, so you don't want to overburden them with like 4 pages. Nobody who would have that time to read it. So you have to be very concise, expressing your interest in their research. You can also attach your CV or 1 or 2 reference of their recent publication and why you think it aligns with your interest and expressing your interest to work with them. You can also reach out to their lab members on LinkedIn. So example of code email. So this was an example of a code email that I sent to my supervisor when I was applying for graduate school, but I just had to rewrite it so that if somebody is trying to reach out currently, what you're supposed to put inside and things you're not supposed to write. So for example, an example of a code email. Dear, for this, I would really want to talk about this. When you're addressing the professors, since that is your first time contacting them, you can please add doctor to it. I remember during my time, I wrote Dear Shannon, and she told me, she sent me an email, she was like, don't address me by my first name. So after that, that was something that I really, some people don't mind, but others mind. So since that is your first time you're reaching out and you don't really have a relationship with the person, just be professional, just add doctor to it. So you have dear doctor and the person's last name. I hope this email finds you well. So an example of the code email, I have been following your research on produce safety education for undeserved and non-English speaking growers. I was particularly drawn to your recent publication. So you can insert the title of the paper. So, for example, in my case, developing produce safety educational resources for refugee growers in the urban areas, and your focus on creating practical, accessible extension tools aligns directly with my background and research aspirations. I hold a BSc in food science and technology and have hands on experience developing tailored educational resources and visual outreach tools for non English speaking produce growers in the Midwest. My work has centered on breaching produce safety compliance with equity and accessibility, given your lab's active work in urban food safety systems and produce safety education. I am very interested in exploring potential MS or PhD opportunities under your supervision for, and you also state the semester you would like to enroll in. You can also tell him that you are attaching him or her that you're attaching your CV for your review, and also you would be open to a brief call or interview in the coming weeks to discuss any opportunities they have and also whether they are recruiting new students. So you have to be brief and go straight to the point. So that was what I did during my time, but I didn't bring the doctor. So now I would encourage everybody to bring the doctor when reaching out to professors, since that is the first time. So for the cold outreach strategy, you have to read about their recent publications and also mention that that shows that you're not just being general or yes, you're not being general, but you're being specific, and also you have a specific interest in what you're doing. And keep your emails brief, under 250 words, highlighting your background, shared interests, and attached CV. And if you do not receive any feedback, or you can send a follow-up email between 10 to 14 business days if you have not received any response from the first day that the email was sent to the supervisor. Unlocking fully funded opportunities. So let me go back to my story again. I'm just sharing my story and also the slides for people to understand better what I did, because I feel like the slides would also give more input into what I'm saying. So when I sent my email, my supervisor reached back to me telling me that she had a project, and that was what I did, which is addressing produce safety education for non-English speaking growers in the Midwest. And she asked me to write about 2 pages of what I know about food safety and how I think it is important to have a food safety material for refugee growers. So I did that and I sent it to her in an email. After that, she reached back to me and said she really liked what I wrote and she was open to interview me. So I was interviewed, my supervisor interviewed me with a panel of 4 people, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I had 4 people in that interview. So my supervisor and other supervisors that I worked with on this project. So they asked me about what I knew about food safety, what my interests were, how I handle pressure, and also in case things don't go as aligned, what I do. So those were the questions that I was asked. And after the interview, she wrote back to me, I think in a week's time, that I had passed the interview and she had some funding available for me to enroll. So that was how I applied to Iowa State University. So for me, my research was what I did as for my graduate assistantship was a research assistantship. So we have both research assistantship and teaching assistantship. And what I did was for the research. So that was where my funding came from and also my stipend. So when reaching out to supervisors, another way that you can also reach out to them is through LinkedIn. Some of them post opportunities that they have for graduate school online. So these are some 2 posts that I saw recently on LinkedIn where supervisors are reaching out to people who are interested in enrolling in their courses. So you can go to LinkedIn and also look for graduate school. Some would pop up and you can also apply over there. So preparing your application. So after my supervisor told me she had funding, she then asked me to apply to the school. And during the application, these were some of the things I was asked for. So my statement of purpose, my CV, recommendation letters. Recommendation letters are very important because during my time, I was asked to provide 4 recommendation letters, and I I think about a month to the deadline, the application deadline, I had provided just 3, and my supervisor said they can't move on with my application until I provide one more. So whilst you are there currently, try and make network with your supervisors in school or people that you think can provide you recommendation letters in the future, because some people would not move on with application if you don't really have the number of recommendation letters they are looking for. So recommendation letters are very important. Build the connection, make the network, and also reach out to people from time to time, not just when you need them, but just to check up on them so that in times like this, when you want recommendation letters, it would be very easy to get it from them. And another thing is we have some schools that ask for TOEFL or IELTS. For me, during my time, it was way for me because where I schooled, that was Kwame Nkrumah University, I provided English proficiency, and that was enough for the TOEFL and IELTS to be waived for me. So when I am applying for graduate school, you also have to keep in mind that you need to have a timeline depending on when you want to start. So from my case, I started from October 2022 and I got admitted in August 2023. So you have to, it's not something that you just jump on or you just do and you think maybe on the first application, everything might go smoothly. There might be rejections on the way, you don't know. So you should have that in mind and start the application early, start your school search early. You should identify your professor early, reach out to them, send code emails, ask for recommendation letters, and also submitting your formal application and scholarship application form. Because after that, that isn't the end. You would also have to apply for visa. And now we know in Ghana, the visa situation, it takes some time, it takes a while because you might not get dates when you apply immediately. So you would also have to have that in mind and apply early. Then
Hi,
thriving
Angie.
in
Just
the
to interrupt briefly, your slides are not showing now. I don't know if your slides. Did you want to
oh,
share your slides, or you wanted to let you know? So you can check and then put it up there. All right. Please go ahead.
can you see my slide now? Can you confirm for me?
No, I can't see your slide now, but let me
Okay, I can
see.
just talk without the slides. That's fine.
All right, absolutely. Okay.
But can you see me? Can I continue?
Yes, yes, I can see. Yes, please go ahead. Please
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. So, um, yeah, so I was talking about the application timeline roadmap, the roadmap. So you are supposed to apply early because of the visa situation after you even get admission course. There are times where you are admitted and school is about to start and your visa is not ready because you've not gotten a visa interview date. So you should have bear in mind about the visa and also look for means and ways to also apply for your visa ahead of time. And another thing that I would like to talk about today is thriving in the US. So when you get here, cultural adaptation, you you should be willing to embrace new perspective while staying rooted in your identity and community values, and also active networking. over here sometimes it get boring, it gets lonely. So you have to build a strong connection with your peers, your professors, and even your international students organization in order to get people to be with you. You don't know, anything can happen and you might need somebody to be there for you. So you should always have in mind in building active networks. And lessons I wish I knew. This is so important to me. Things I wish I knew before coming to the US or before embarking on this whole journey. The first thing was the application timeline. For my case, I applied and did everything, and I got my offer letter in April of 2023, and I didn't get a visa date until August 2026. And I was supposed to be in the US by August 15th, 2020. No, 2023, sorry. So 2023, that was just 14 days. So I had 14 days to go for my visa interview, which I wasn't sure whether my visa would be approved or denied. I had 14 days to buy a plane ticket, and 14 days, buying a plane ticket within 14 days, that is very expensive. So I had that. And also, I was supposed to be in the US by 15th of August 2023. If I had not made it by 15th August 2023, I would have had to reach out to my school to get another letter for me to show to the immigration people at my point of entry that I was supposed to be here for school. So that is something that I wish I had known early, because it really put me under much pressure trying to raise the funds for my plane ticket and also getting my visa approval. And stubborn me, I had not even resigned from work at that time. So on the 1st of August that I went for my visa interview, I went back to work on the 2nd of August, and that was when I resigned from work. I had given them 1 week notice, and I know that for you to resign, some companies expect at least 2 to 3 weeks notice so that they can get somebody to replace you. But thank God that in my case, my manager understood what happened, the situation, and what I was going through. So she was very helpful, and she agreed for me to resign like within a week. I know some people might say, oh, you could have just left without resigning. I know, yes, you can do that, but I felt like building a relationship is very important, and you shouldn't just walk out from people who have helped you, who have brought you that far. So I felt like, to me personally, I felt like it would be disrespectful, so I needed to honor them because that was my first career, and they had really been helpful, they had really guided me to where I was then. So I felt like it wouldn't be the right thing to just get up and leave. So I went and I spoke to my manager, and she was really helpful. She understood me, and she accepted the 1 week resignation notice. Then another thing is to target fully funded assistantship. When I applied for schools in the US, I got two schools. I got to the Iowa State University and I got to the Texas Tech University. The Texas Tech offered me 4,000. So that was from my whole fees. They were willing to give me just 4,000. And that is nothing at all because my fees was around, was it 40 something? And you're giving me just 4,000. How would I be able to raise the rest? Come on. So I didn't go in for that. But for the Iowa State, even though I didn't get a fully funded scholarship, I got about 50%, which was okay because as a student, I was receiving stipend and I was using that stipend to pay the rest of my tuition fee. So that was very okay. So that is another thing. Whenever you receive um an assistantship or a funding, you shouldn't just accept it. You should ask questions like, how much is this? How much would this be enough for me in terms of my rent, in terms of my health care, in terms of my living, like food? You should ask questions before accepting it, because sometimes in that moment you might be very happy and be like, oh, I've gotten admission, I've gotten some this or scholarship. I don't care whether it's enough or not. So first I'm going to the US, like I'll just accept it. But trust me, if you just do that and you come here, you might be frustrated because learning alone in a weather that you're not used to, especially when it's really cold, waking up, going to class, and also coming back to work to raise money to take care of you. That is a lot. So you should target either fully funded assistantship or maybe about 50 to 75 assistantship. That would be very helpful. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is to budget for your initial transition cost, especially you would have to pay for your visa fees, you have to plan ahead of that. Your flight tickets, maybe your family might be willing to help, or you would have friends who would be willing to help. But if you don't have, what would be your backup plan? So you are supposed to think about that and also put something in place, as well as your initial housing deposits. Learn how to drive. Learning how to drive over here is not a flex. Like you would really need it. Learn how to drive is something that you should be able to do because it's not every day that you would have somebody who would take you to where you would want to go to. But if you know how to drive, you can, even if you don't have a car, you can rent a car or even ask a friend for his or a car. You can just let them know, I'm going here. Can you give me your car? Can I drive your car? So that is something that you should learn how to do, learn how to drive, learn how to cook. These are basic things, but they are very important to be able to live over here. Because I'm not sure you like to wake up every day and be eating fries. Come on, you would miss your Ghanaian food. And we have like African shops around that you can go and buy the food ingredients, the foodstuffs, and make your own food. So learn how to cook. Another thing that I think most of us overlook, but it's very, very important to know how to do. Like you would save yourself some money if you know how to do that. As learning how to make your own hair. Don't look at my hair. I'll be making my hair today, but learning how to make your own hair, that is very important. Whether you can braid or cut anything, style your own hair. Like you should learn how to do it because professional braiding costs a lot, sometimes between 150 to $300. And that even does not include your tips or hair extensions. So learning how to make your own hair or style your hair or even trim, and that can even be a side business for you because you can make your hair and also make hairs of that of your friends or your colleagues and you can get something from it. So that is very important. That is something I wish I knew before coming here. And another thing is save as much as you can because you really need the money in order to survive over here. So that is all that I wanted to share about my journey. And also, just keep in mind that your background should not be a barrier to your global aspirations. Like, it's your unique story that sets you apart and puts you in every room you enter. So you have to make sure you put things in place in order to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So if you have any questions for me now, Ernestina, or any of your audience, I would be willing to take it now. Ernestina, you're muted.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. The questions, I have some questions to ask because as you were speaking, I was just taking notes of things to ask, of possible, when someone has questions. And I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you. And if somebody sends a question afterwards, we can take that and respond to them as well. So, Angie, my question is, why study abroad when you could have studied online? Let me start with there and then we'll go through some other questions.
Okay. Let me even start with why study abroad when I could have studied in Ghana.
Hmm.
Okay, so when I was thinking about my masters, initially I wanted to do it in University. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the weekend classes in University. But upon a second thought, I told myself that I'm still young. That was the excuse I give myself. I'm still young to start to go to work from Monday to Friday and go to KNUST on Saturday and Sunday. That would be too stressful. People do it and it work for them. But I felt like I wanted to go out of the country and learn from other place, like other people, also new cultures, to embrace their culture, to know how things are done in other countries, and also their way of thinking, like perspective and everything. And that really helped me. I wouldn't lie, because let me give you one of the cultural shocks I had the first day I went to class over here. The first day I went to class, dressing, one, was a cultural shock for me. Two, the way people were like interacting in class, because you have somebody teaching and people were just like moving out of class. And I told myself, nah, in Kenya, like, we never did this. If you want to go out of class, like, you would have to ask your instructor for a permission. You can't just walk out of class. But even though those two were something that I was really shocked about, I was so surprised at the way the class isn't like a lecturer coming to class and just teaching you and leaving. It was more of a discussion base. The instructor would give you like a note that this is what we are going to look at for the next class. Go and read and come to class and share your ideas. So it was more of a discussion base, and everybody's perspective, whatever you had to say, was welcomed. Nothing was looked down upon. And that really helped me in coming out of my shell, and also being more vocal and learning from others. Um, Different culture, different background. That helped me. So I think um I didn't really think about why I wouldn't have studied online and it just came to the US. That never crossed my mind. The only thing that crossed my mind was going to KNUST to study for weekend classes. And I felt like, no, like that is just too much pressure. Like sometimes you just have to leave, like just go, leave, go have fun while studying, instead of putting yourself in some bracket or like stressing yourself out, or because you just want to get money from working Monday to Friday and going to class on Saturday, Sunday. So if you have that opportunity to just leave
Yeah.
and go, I would advise that you should. But we all come from different homes. We all have different
Yeah.
financial backgrounds and different financial situation. If you think you can't
Yeah.
afford that, and learning online would be the best thing for you to do, I would advise you to go for it. For me, I was just looking at my age then, and also I was like, I'm too young to just put myself under this pressure and this stress. Let me just go.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was why I went that route.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because I wanted to hear your voice on that because a lot of people, just want to get up and go. You had a reason. You were intentional about it. Some people just want, oh, I just want to go outside. The truth is there are pros and cons. That's what I wanted you to create that disparity and do so well with that. There are pros and cons going, there are pros and cons studying, and I love how you ended it saying that it depends on your circumstances, it depends on what you want. So that our viewers, the audience, they don't think that, oh, when I just wake up and life is a certain way, I move out. And I also love the part where I'm going to get there and I'll ask another question where you made it clear that you were actually working in Ghana because a lot of people assume that when things are not working in Ghana, then you just jackpot, or when things are terrible. But the truth is that sometimes it's just another phase of your life that, as you have shared with your own journey, you have to embark on. You have to take that initiative and say, I have to go, right? And I want to ask this question. That leads me to the next question, which is, so would you say that your journey to you going out kind of prepared you? Would you say that because you mentioned that when you went outside, you have some cultural shocks, true, and you have been able to navigate that? I may ask a few questions about that. But prior to you leaving, and then when you got there, do you think that your journey till then, right, the journey to getting into your years, there were some things that maybe you did, maybe in school, there are some things, some sort of advice that you got, something that helped you so that when you go there, because a lot of people actually go there as well and they don't thrive. Like they are just outside, they are just abroad and that's it. But they're not really doing anything substantial with your life. Do you think that your journey to you going to it prepared you? And if yes, what do you think prepared you? Was it a lifestyle, an environment? What do you think prepared you for that journey? Now looking back, yes.
Okay, so for my case, I think what prepared me was I reached out to some of my friends that were already here. So I asked them like, how is life in the US? And I thank God for those friends because they were very truthful and they told me the truth. apart from learning how to make my hair. That's what they didn't tell me. That's what they didn't tell me, but they were very helpful. They told me about that. And also where I was working in Ghana before coming to the US, Olam. So Olam is an international company, and we had some of our managers going out like to different countries from time to time. So sometimes when they come, they share their experience, they share their stories, like things that happens over here that in Ghana people will be like, oh, you're not supposed to do this, or maybe this is disrespectful. But over here, for example, addressing people by their first name. Over here is normal. At work, we address everybody like our managers, anybody, your colleagues. In school, too, the same thing. When I got to school the first time, I know in KNST, we address our supervisors, our instructors by doctor. But over here, when I got here, the first time I saw my supervisor, I was like, Doctor, and she was like, oh no, if I'm with you, you can just call me by my first name. I'm okay with that. Like, you don't need to address me with that. And that was something that I already got to know from some people, that some people are cool with it, others are not cool with it. So sometimes you would have to read the room and also try to know the person's background, like where the person is coming from. Like a white person wouldn't bother about that, but a black person would be strict, would be like, okay, I earned that, so you have to address me by that. So that's where some of the things that prepared me. So where I worked, Olam really prepared me for coming outside, because over there we also had people from outside that used to visit the facility, and we had that contact with them, working with them. So all those prepared me, because sometimes even when you go for lunch, they'll ask you, "Hey, what is this? What food is this?" And sometimes you might also ask them, "So what kind of food do you guys eat at your end?" And it's always like fries, fries, fries. So learn how to cook when you're coming here. Yeah, learn how to cook. So those were some of the things. But what I didn't really know that was more of a shock to me that I said was the dressing. But now it's normal, because I understand now. Truthfully, I understand better, because of the weather. Sometimes it's like 110 Fahrenheit, which is 38 or 37, 38 Celsius. You don't expect the person to be wearing trousers and long sleeves. So I got to understand why they dress that way, and also why they also dress that way in the winters. I
Mm,
think now I'm better with that. So
yeah.
that was something that I didn't really know. The first day I went to class, I was wearing
Mm,
long sleeves, like normal. The way I was dressing in university, long sleeves, long trousers, with my backpack. And I got to
yeah.
class, and it's like, okay, you're the old one here. But yes, but that did not change the
Mm,
way I dressed, though. That did not change, because I knew that, okay, that wasn't the way I was brought up. That isn't my culture. That is their culture. I'm not supposed to judge
yeah.
them. They are okay with them, so I just have
Right.
to respect them. So it's like
Yeah.
respecting them, embracing them, but also knowing your roots, knowing where you come
Right.
from, your values. If you
Yeah.
think you are okay with that, fine. You don't have to judge somebody by the way the person dresses. No.
Mm,
Yes, so that was something that helped me.
absolutely. Love this. Love this. You know, as you were speaking, what I was just picking up was how you were prepared. You know how your environment prepared you, and I love that you kept mentioning. Some people, it may be their workplace that prepares them. Some people, it may be a community they are part of. It may be, some friendships that they have, something like. And you also mentioned how, their managers in Olam, they'll tell you experiences and all that. Now, then it brings me to my next question, which is, do you then think that, okay, so you know, I mean, maybe in previous conversation you mentioned about how maybe individualistic or it's not your norm, right? Because of maybe your personality, you're a bit extroverted, or but coming into a place where now a lot of people are keeping to themselves. Do you think that the relationships? Okay, so it's actually twofold. The first one is that you left Olam and then you left the right way. That's what I want to add. And then do you think that if you had left wrongly, it would have affected you in a way? Like, because, in Africa, or let me just speak for Ghana, and then a lot of instances that I have also been a part of it, where because of how frustrated the system can get sometimes, and maybe you didn't find yourself in the place you wanted to be. So already The environment is frustrating you wherever you are. The workplace is frustrating you, and all that. So we end up cutting off relationships without like what she said. Some people don't see it as being rude. I mean, if they feel maybe the workplace doesn't support their growth, some people can literally just pick up and say, "Ah, I'm going outside." I mean, before you guys hear from me, the next 5, 10 years, and they do that, and then they come back. It's like the relationship has severed, it's severed, or it's no longer there. And you also mentioned how being in touch with people, and not just when you need something from them. I know that with my personality was a struggle, right? So with somebody, I just want you to speak briefly to both sides, like meaning an introvert and an extrovert. What will you tell an introvert or an extrovert who needs to book community? Because as you said, it was part of the preparation, having the right networks, having the right community, having the people who were willing to share the truth. They don't just come and give you jargons. Oh, US is this, yes, but you go there, it's like, reality is like what I ordered versus what I got, right? So the please speak to an introvert and extrovert student who is wanting to apply outside, specifically to the US, or wanted to go, embark on another journey. Do you think that how do they, retain their relationships so that it opens more doors or more opportunities for them? So please speak to an introvert and an extrovert. What do you think that, in your own words, yeah, how can they prepare themselves well so that yes, I'm an introvert, but I don't lose connections, or yes, I'm an extrovert and I don't do too much, and then I'm all yeah. So please speak to the two parties, the introvert and the extrovert.
Okay, so I'll start with the introverts because I'm one myself. So let me start with a story how I started my journey and everything. I was talking about recommendation letters and how I had my recommendation letters. So before working in Olam, when I was in University, I did some internships and I interned in Cargill. And in Cargill, I wanted to go back to do my national service over there in Cargill, but COVID happened and Cargill said we're not taking service personnel. So then I had to look for another place to do my service. And that was when I reached out to my supervisor when I was working in Cargill. I told him that, oh, I'm done with school. I want to do my service, but Cargill is not accepting people. Like, what do you think? And he was very good to me. Like he asked me to come over. So I went to Cargill. He asked me to come with my CV. I went with my CV. He went through my CV. He was like, no, change this, do this, do this. So that was how I kept in touch with him. And when I was applying for schools in the US, so when I went to Olam, when I had Olam, had before I started working in Olam, when you're going to do your service, you'll still be interviewed as if you are coming to work like a normal job process. So I went for my interview and everything, and not knowing the person who interviewed me knew my supervisor that I work with in Cargill and, and
Wow.
reached out to my supervisor. And I didn't know anything about that until recently.
Yes.
So sometimes when you're working at
Wow.
a particular place, to like workplace attitude, that
Mm,
is very important. How you show
yeah.
up is very important. Like, don't think that, oh, I'm an intern, so I can show up anytime. Like, even though you're an intern, try and work as a professional because you're building your story. You don't know who you would need
Yeah.
for your next story or for your next journey. So I reached out to
Yeah.
this person. I told him that, okay, I think it's time for me to come to the US for my master's and I need a recommendation letter. So
Mm,
when I was going for my national service, I reached out to him. And apart from that, like every month, like 2 months or 3 months, like I check up, oh, how is work? How is work going? Sometimes I just reach out to him. I'll be like, oh, I'm doing good. Like, do you have a moment? I just want us to talk like my career. Like, what do you
yeah.
think? What advice do you have for me? Sometimes you don't have to struggle through. There are people who have already struggled through. So you can just reach out to them
Yeah.
and speak to them and they would be willing to help you or at least sometimes not just to help you but just to listen to you like to have somebody there to listen
Mm,
to you in your career. That was very helpful
yeah.
for me because when I told the person that, oh, I was thinking of doing my master's in KNUST but I felt like it will be
Mm,
stressful so I want to go outside, what do you think? He was like, yes, I think you should go for it because why
mm,
not? Yeah, since your reason was like you thought it will be stressful, you're also too young,
mm,
you want to go and explore, you should go for
Yeah.
it. So that was something that really helped me. So I think having people that you are accountable to, that would also help you, and not just reaching out when you need something from them. Sometimes their
Right.
birthday, you can just send a happy birthday note to them, or happy birthday,
Yeah.
like God bless you, or New Year, a happy New Year, I wish you a good New Year, Christmas, like those things would keep the connection. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just like when you need something, that is when you reach out to them. So that is how,
Right.
if you're an introvert, that is the best way to build your relationship. You just don't have to wait if you
Mm.
need something. Like just sending them a message like, oh, I thought about you and I'm trying to reach out, or how is work going? Like that would help build the
Yeah.
relationship. And I can't really speak to the extrovert side because I'm not really one, but I wish somebody who was one would speak to it. But I think
Well,
sometimes you
yeah.
have to know not to overstep your boundaries. Like it's not
Right.
like calling a person every single day. Sometimes you become like a burden to the person, or when the person even
Mm.
sees your call, the person will try to ignore. So sometimes you have to know where to like strike the balance. You have to wait. Like, where do I have to stop? I think that should help you as an extrovert person. I'm not one,
Right.
so I can't really speak to it, but I think that is what you should do. Like, know where to like stop. You have your boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Well, that is so helpful because thank you for that. Because extroverts are, they it's easy for them to connect with people. It's easy for so someone may look back and say, ah, because you're an extrovert, that's why. So I love that you also spoke to the fact that you're an introvert and yet you're able to form really healthy relationships that have helped you build. And there's something that you mentioned that I also want to point out that this world is such a small world that recently I heard someone say that the person you know, right, your connection maybe 3% away from who they know, meaning that if perhaps maybe I know you and there's somebody that I want to connect with and I don't know you know the person, right? But depending on how I treat you, you may never know the conversations that go behind. But I didn't know, I know this person, but like, how did that happen? Just like you said, you never knew the connection was there until they told you, right? So I think that it's very prudent that yes, we have introvert and don't beat yourself up if you made mistakes. Ah, child, most of us have made several mistakes. I'm here, right? But we live and we learn. Sometimes the environment you have to be willing to adapt, and sometimes some people may take longer. Some people may take a short while, but just make sure that when you get the right knowledge, you get on track, and whatever tears you have to cry, whatever process you have to go through it, and just do the right thing and move along with that. So thank you for sharing that. And then leads me to my last but two. I don't want to keep it too long here. You've been here so much and you shared so many nuggets, guys. I mean, this is so enriching. Like this session is so enriching, and I'm glad that it's not just about the studies, but it goes into so much detail to help you thrive, right? Because someone will say, "Oh, let's go and study," and then what? After that, what happens? Well, who have you become? Your character. What has changed about you aside that? So I'm very glad you shared that. Um, for someone who hasn't had a very strange journey, it's very enlightening. So thank you for sharing that. And my next question that I want to ask is, so I read your bio. You shared your bio, and then I read it, and I noticed a consistency, right? You know, when we say career is when you're on one path and all that. Me, I have had jobs. Me, I always tell you, it's not that I'm starting my career last year and this year. I have had jobs because my own journey, I had to explore different avenues to see, oh, this. But you have been consistent. So I want to find out, is it that passion, right, for what you do? Did you intentionally choose food science, or is this something you have to grow to love? Because there's a thing where in Africa we choose out of convenience. Oh, this will help me, so let me study. Or parents or your authorities are like, you have to study this, and you have no choice, right? Because you are not catering for yourself. So I just want you to speak to that and how to help someone navigate. Someone is now applying, and it's like, hey, this course I'm really studying. Why? Why? Am I the only one? Am I supposed to be alone? Is it by force? But you have to learn it. So you finish and you're confused because you don't have it. Because I genuinely believe that it's one of the reasons why a lot of people get into work religions and they are frustrated, they are stuck and all that. Speaking from
Yeah.
experience and also conversations from people with people, where you get a place like, I didn't even want to be here in the first place. So your attitude will give you away. You do things and say this that they may call you disrespectful, but maybe that wasn't your true intention. Some people are genuinely disrespectful. I mean, but maybe most times that isn't your. You just have an issue. You don't know how to voice it out. So I just want. Is it that you do believe that people have to choose what they're passionate about? Like, for now, please speak to a student and speak to a parent as well who is like, the child should go and study, I want you to study arts or English. You know the child is not good at English because you want the child to do something in that line, or you want the child to do something that will make you happy. But what about the child? Will they be fulfilled? Please speak to a child who may be in that circumstance, or not a child, a teenager or young adult who will be in at a phase where, oh, I want to be like Angie. I want to do what Angie is doing. I want to be able to have a track record, be consistent in my career path. But as it stands now, I didn't have the right foundation. I didn't start from the right place. My course, everything is messed up. I did this and this and this. Please speak to that person, and then also speak to the parent or guardian who is taking care of that teenager, that young adult, and is insisting, do this because that's what will make mom or dad happy.
Let's
That's
all
what will
give
make
you
the
money.
family happy. Yes, that's what will give you money. Thank you. So please speak to the parent, the young adult or the teenager, and then please speak to the parent or guardian as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I will start with the young adult. I think food science for me stemmed from a place of passion. And I discovered that I wanted to do food science and know more about food science because of what happened to me. Yes, when I was young. So there was this day that I went to the hospital, like
Share
I
a
was
bit
throwing
of it.
up. Yeah, yeah. As a story, like I was throwing up.
Wow.
I went to the hospital and I was given an IV. So over there, the doctor came in and he was like, he thinks it's food poisoning. And the first thing that
Mm,
came to mind was, who wants me dead? Like, what did I do? Who did
right.
I offend? And that was when I got to know that nah, like it wasn't that somebody intentionally introduced chemicals to the food, but sometimes there are microorganisms like in the food, especially like that causes spoilage.
Mm,
So it could be that I ate something that was spoiled, and that was what led to that
imagine.
reaction. So that was where the passion stemmed from. I wanted to know
Mm,
more. I wanted to be part of like a group of people, professionals who would produce safe food because food is part of our needs, like our basic needs. Like we need food to be able to survive. And also when we look at food too, food also puts smiles on people, on the faces of people. We have people who are suffering, people who don't have food to eat. And we also have people who also have food, but they are wasting it, food wastage. So
mm,
I wanted to be part of like that group of people who would produce good food, food that when people eat will not harm them, something that people need to meet their expectation and also to help them. So that was where I started from. And I thank God for my parents because when I told my parents that I wanted to do food science in University, like none of them said anything about against it. Like they all showed their support. And even to the extent that something they started teasing me at home. Like when I'm cooking, they'll be like, this is how food science is. Like
oh, wow.
using the amount of
Yeah.
salt or should we add more like and my siblings too, like they used to tease me a lot. They'd be like,
Wow.
madam food scientist, like especially the day that I cook and the food isn't really nice, they'll be like, madam food scientist,
Yeah.
what happened today? So so my parents were really supportive. Like they never said anything because I felt like food science when I was doing food science, I felt like many people didn't really know about food science. When you talk about food
Mm,
science, all that goes into the minds of people is you are a cook. But food science goes
right.
beyond cooking. And people were like, oh, food science is a Polish name for home econs. Excuse you, I
Ah,
didn't do home econs in SHS. I did general science. And even in University to be admitted to food science, you have to do general science. Like
yeah.
I don't know whether somebody got admitted with food science because you need a chemistry background, you need physics background, like all
Mm,
those things. So it's not a Polish version of home economics. Like that's what people thought food science was. So I really thank God because my parents didn't really know about food science then, but when I told them that this is what I wanted to do and I wanted to be a food scientist because of what happened to me. And when I was
mm,
admitted, they were there. So they also knew that, oh, it was food poisoning because I ate something that, sometimes you don't really see it that, oh, the food is getting spoiled or it's going
mm.
bad. But there might
Okay.
be reactions that have taken places that like we don't really know about. So when I told them about it, they didn't know anybody who was in that professional or who had done that, but they supported my dream. So I'm so grateful to my parents for supporting me and not imposing something on me that, oh, won't be a nurse because everybody's doing nursing, or midwifery because
Yeah,
everybody's doing midwifery.
right.
No. And to the young person who doesn't really know what to do, I feel like your
Mm,
bachelor's degree is just a foundation. Sometimes you might
right.
not really need to do that in your career, or maybe if you want to continue your education like for masters or something, sometimes you might need to divert.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on you. Like, get to know yourself and don't do something because others are doing it. Because sometimes you
Yeah.
see somebody, like especially somebody going to the let me say nursing field, and be like, oh, why do you want to become a nurse? Oh, because my friend is doing that. No, like, you have to know yourself. That is something that I think like we don't really do well in Ghana, helping the young people, like
Yeah.
especially the teenagers, and also getting to support
Yeah.
their dreams. Maybe somebody might not want to go to, like, let me say, a tertiary institution or something. The person wants to do something like
Mm-hmm.
vocational. You have to support the
Yeah.
person's dream, because somebody becoming, let me say, a plumber or a carpenter, at the end of the day we need those people to also survive. So
Yeah.
you don't have to look down on somebody's occupation, or because maybe the
Yeah.
person is not going to tertiary, you can't be like, oh, like you're coming to disgrace the family. Like, nobody in our family is doing this, only you. We sent you to school, you have to go to the university, and you want to disgrace us? No. So I think parents should support their children's dream. And also, you can start your career at any point
Mm,
in time. Like, you can be 50 years and realize that, oh, this is not what I want to do. This is not
right.
what I'm passionate about. At the end of the day, I want to do something that when I close from work and I come home, I am at peace with myself. I can sleep and sleep well. That is something that I'm always passionate about. So that is something that we should also think about when we are choosing our career path. Not just something that would give you money. Yes, money is good, but are you at peace with yourself? Are you happy where you are? If you think you're not happy, then
Yeah.
kindly look for the right path. And don't always try to please society, because you can never please society. You'll be like, oh, society be like, hey, after you went to school, after all your parents did for you, this is what you are doing. But that is what I love. So do what you love.
Right. Ah, 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 ah. This deserves a round of applause and over and over and over and over and over because, see, we don't talk about this often. Thank you for shedding light on that. We don't talk about these things often because, fundamentally, that's what it's affected a lot of people. Where, you mentioned passion, you're passionate to your purpose, right? We know that this person is passionate about it. It's like, forget that, forget passion. Is it passion that will bring food? But sometimes, actually, the passion that will not only bring for, it will bring not just food, but it will also bring fulfillment, which is the ultimate, right? And I also love that you touched on um a bachelor's degree being a foundation. It doesn't have to be what you necessarily build on. Because a lot of the youth, they are like, oh, if I do, let's use the nursing that I mentioned, for example, if I go and learn nursing, then I have to finish it. Sometimes it's just the training you are going through. And then after, someone can do a nursing and go and learn maybe in a pilot program or something, So it's just a foundation. So I love that you share that. And I love that the parents are guidance. This is not, it's not rebuke at all. Because scripture says we shouldn't rebuke our parents. It's not rebuke at all. It's just really to let us know that our children and teenagers also need to have a voice in what they're aspiring for. Because at the end of the day, whatever life whoever they become, it affects them more. Yes, it affects the family, but if they're not fulfilled, if they're not fulfilling destiny, all the problems will come back. So let's endeavor to encourage them. I love that you said that your parents encouraged you. Kudos to your parents. Well done to them. I love intentional. When I hear intentional stories, intentional parents, intentional siblings who are aware. And I also think it comes from a place of awareness, like you said. So let's create more awareness with this. I believe that today's session is more of a message to parents, teachers, everybody to really open up their minds to the possibilities of the opportunities out there and also the opportunities around so that they encourage their wards to go for whatever God has laid on their hearts, whatever they are good at. And like you said, plumbing is not just a career, it's a lifestyle. something we need them. It's not I mean, it's here. I don't outside. I know it's something that really pays well. Those kind of works. If it's money is not the end goal at all. It's part of it, but it's not the end goal. I mean, you should be fulfilled and be making money. But if we take us out certain careers, because now in Ghana, skills is what is really keeping people. So you do your masters. You have to go and learn the hair braiding that you want to learn in the first place that you look down on because society looked down on it. Society made us think, oh, when you learn hair braiding, when you learn plumbing, when you learn carpentry, you're no brainer, or you don't have much to offer. But that is not the case. So thank you for sharing that education. Again, as I said, I don't want to keep you here for
Let
too
me
long.
let me add
Because
something to it.
okay, okay, go ahead.
So since I go to the US, whenever I buy a furniture, it comes in a box and I fix it myself. Yes. So if you come to my room, my wardrobe, my tables, everything, I fix myself. Because if you want somebody to fix it for you, it comes with an extra cost. And human being is trying to survive. Like you're just
Yeah.
starting the life
Mm,
here. So I fix everything myself. So you need those things, like you need those skills in order
need
to
this.
live. Like you need those skills. They are very
Yeah.
important because you can get something from it. You can choose to use it as your side business if you want, or you can
Mm.
just even use do it as something that you love. So that is very important.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So there are opportunities out there. We just have to be willing to see them. We shouldn't look down on them. And so then, Angie, I don't want to keep you here too long. What would you say? This is my final. I said I was good. This is my final question. And then if you have any other question, but what would you say to a younger version of you, or picture another child, another teenager, or someone who was in your age, you know, picture another person that you're trying to reach to, you're trying to send this message to. What would you tell that person while, like, them coming to embark on, you're looking at your whole journey, like how the intentional steps you've taken has led to open doors, opportunities, your environment, your family, your connections, your intentionality, right? Your purpose driven, lifestyle has led to where you are now. What would you say to that little girl who maybe started out on your career journey and, maybe you had some questions? What would you say to her, or what would you say to a younger version, somebody who is your age, who maybe, I don't know how old you were when you became very conscious of your career or became very conscious of opportunities, but please speak to your younger version, or any other young girl or boy out there who really wants to pursue career, maybe they're confused. Please speak to them. What should they do? What Please speak to them.
Okay, thanks for your question. What I'll say is do it anyway. Like, don't be scared. This is a journey. Sometimes we might fall, but if you fall, like, don't stay there. That can be a lesson. So you just have to fall. We are human beings. Like, we can just show our emotions. If you want to cry, cry, but don't stay there forever. Like, get up and keep on moving. Do it anyway. Whether you like it or not, people will talk. That is one thing that now I'm becoming more conscious of. Like, you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. So do what you think would make you feel fulfilled at the end of the day. So do it anyway. Yes, people would have their own opinions. Your parents would have their own opinions. But sometimes you just have to be respectful in letting people know what you want to do, what your goals are, and how they can support you. And even if they are not willing to support you, and you think you can move on, you can do it without them, then yes, go ahead. And for anybody who's trying to embark on this journey, um, especially what I'll tell the parents is they should be willing to support financially. Like that is where the struggle comes from most of the times, financially. For my case, I worked for about 3 years, so I was able to save. So I wasn't really a burden on my parents, even though they also supported me. But I wasn't really a burden on my parents. It shouldn't be like after you're done with bachelors, you're not getting anything to do. So you just feel like, oh, I want to take a loan and come here. Like taking a loan, when you look back, you would have to pay for the loan, and sometimes it comes with an interest. So you should just take your time, like start small, do it anyway, and don't be shy to ask for help. ask for help, reach out to people. Instead of struggling through it alone, reach out to people. There are genuine people around who will be willing to support. So that is what I'll tell my younger version. Like, don't be scared. Do it anyway. You might fall, but learn from that, learn from the mistakes, and continue.
Amazing. God bless you. Thank you so much for
Mm.
being here. Just want to find out, are you willing for people to connect with you? If you don't mind, would you like to share your social media handles? Maybe someone wants to reach out, seek advice, anything. I don't know where this conversation will lead or what it may lead to, but if you are open, please kindly share your social media handles that you want people to reach out to you on. I'll leave them in the comments as you
Yeah.
share them. I'll just have them on.
So LinkedIn will be the best place to connect with me.
Okay.
So my name is Angelina Naa Atswei Adjetey.
All right. So give me a second. Let me type it right now. Okay. All right. So as she said, her name is Angelina Naa Atswei Adjetey on LinkedIn. So if you have any further questions, you want to know anything else, please reach out. But be respectful. Don't just reach out and please do it respectfully. Be kind with your words, and yes, she'll be more than willing to respond if you have any question. Especially if you're in her field, she's in food safety. If you didn't hear the credentials I mentioned earlier on, go to the beginning and listen. But again, I have some credentials. I have a flyer that I share so you can go through it. Make sure you are aligning with the person you are connecting with, so that you don't just reach out and waste their time, waste your time. So I'll encourage you, child, teenager, parent, guardian, you want to reach out. Are you open to speaking engagements now? I'm just confirming before I say it. Are you open to people speaking engagements? Oh, I think I lost you.
Yeah,
Hi,
that's
and
you too. Yeah.
okay. So I was asking if you're open to speaking engagements. If somebody wants to reach out and all that,
Yeah, the person
or
can reach out for us to see what we can do.
can reach out. Okay, and
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so great news. She's open to speaking engagement. So you're encouraged. You're blessed by this session. You really want to connect with her. Anything food science, food safety. Look at her credentials. She has the track record. She has the ability to do whatever. She's on LinkedIn to connect with you and then to whatever tangents this leads on. Please connect, reach out. So thank you so much once again. Thank you so much. I know that you've not wasted time here, and even as you've been here with us, may God refresh you. The time you spent here, it has not been wasted. And we'll share snippets. Like, I don't know how to say thank you, but we'll share snippets, and I actually believe that this will lead to more conversations. Yes, by God's grace, more conversations in the future, more open doors. There's going to be a lot of things that will come out from this. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for not sugarcoating your journey. Thank you
Thank
for
you
not
for having
sugarcoating your
me.
journey. Yes,
Yeah.
glad to have you on board. Glad to have you on board. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be in a different space, different setting, and yes. So, if you don't mind, you're a Christian. If you don't mind, we started with God. Would you like to please
Mhm.
end us in prayer?
That's
Thank you.
fine. Let's pray.
All right. Okay.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for a moment as this. We thank you for how far you've brought us. Heavenly Father, it's not about our might, it's not about our power, it's just your grace. All we want to say today is thank you. We're so grateful. I thank you for giving me the opportunity today to share my story. I pray that may my story bless others, those who are confused, those who don't know what to do. I pray that may you, Lord, lead them, may you, Lord, guide them, and give them a victory story at the end, because there is nothing that you, Lord, you can
Amen.
do. Everything is possible with you, because you even said in your word that you knew us before you even gave birth to us. So we know that, yes, everything when we commit it to your hands, everything will be successful. And also, we pray that as we go about our daily work, especially for we the introverts, may you, O Lord, protect us, because you said that for you, O Lord, have not given us a spirit of fear, but you've given
Mm.
to us a spirit of love, of sound mind. So guide us and protect us. We also commit our parents to your hands. We pray that may they always be there to help us, for us to be able to accomplish whatever you, Lord, have asked us to do. I pray, committing Ernestina to your hands, and for this section, I pray that may you, Lord, give her more ideas, brilliant ideas, that she can reach out to people, that people might be blessed with whatever she does. We're so grateful, and this and many other blessings we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. And the saints say amen.
Amen.
Thank you for that wonderful prayer. I'm going to leave because you said you're going to church. I'm going to leave you
Oh, so
to
church
it
is over
and
now.
we'll catch up. Oh my goodness. Uh,
Sorry.
I mean, you are blessing here. Ministry is yes, so you are blessing here as well. So this can also consider this a form of church, but your time is greatly appreciated, and yes, we look forward to future connections. We will stay in touch, however this
Sure.
goes. So U.S. time is it afternoon now?
It's
Yeah, we still in the
11:35 at my end.
oh wow, 4:35, amazing. Okay, let me leave you to enjoy the rest of your morning, the rest of your day, and we'll catch up
Thank you
sometime.
so much.
All right, then.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that was such an enriching session. A lot to be learned, a lot to take home. I hope that you had your notes, you'd had things to take home because this, I believe, is going to be a blessing to so many people. So share, 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 engage if you have to on LinkedIn, reach out, share because somebody in your network may need this information. Somebody trusting God for an opportunity, an open door may need this. So don't keep it to yourself when you receive it. Blessings are meant to flow. So as you come into contact with this video, I pray that God helps you, gives you the courage and the wisdom to share so that others can also benefit from what this session has what it has really done, the eye-opening discussions that we have had. So enjoy the rest of your morning, your afternoon, your day. It's been Opportunities Workshop 4.0, where our special guest Angelina took us through a very insightful session, and we have learned so much. So stay tuned for the next workshop. It's going to be brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Have an amazing rest of your day or evening. Bye bye.